What up, crafters? You know who you got here? Sabrina with Mindcrafts by Sabrina, where our crafts are anything but square. Anyways, today I'm going to share with you how to, what I'm going to call it, print larger than matte. I guess we're going to call it that. And what we're going to do is print an image from the computer and cut it out in Design Space. This way we can print utilizing the full sheet. So I'm going to be using this image here that my husband drew so that I can use it as a sample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan this image, which I've already done. I took out the background of it so that it's clear in the back, and I did it using the eraser app, and I'm going to upload that into Cricut. And I've already done it, but we'll go ahead and do it so that you can see what I'm talking about. So there is no background. I use the eraser app to remove the background. So I just got my image here. Simple is fine because I don't care about the color. I really just want to get my outline pattern. Here I'm going to select cut so that I can see my outlined image. Give it a name really quick. And then once we have our outline image, we'll insert that onto our mat. And here we are. So we're going to do, you have two options. One, you can use your exact outline and match it up once we get to our cut. Or two, you can take it into Inkscape and create an outline so that way we create kind of a bleed effect, except it's not going to bleed, it's just going to give us really a border to cut around the image. So you can do either one. You can try and cut right up to the lines or give it a border. I'm going to give it a border only because I think cutting right up to the lines is a little bit more testy. You're going to have to work a lot harder to get it exact. I think with this kind of border bleedish play, it makes it a little cleaner. So in order to do that, I'm going to take my image, I'm going to print screen without my grid on, go into paint and paste my image. I'm going to take my silhouette here and I'm going to copy that and take it into Inkscape. And in Inkscape, I'm going to make my border. So once in Inkscape, I'm going to go up to Path and Trace Bitmap. Leave it on grays, remove background, 2 is fine, select OK. Get rid of your original. So now I have my cut path. You can see my nodes. Once we have our cut path, we're going to go back up to Path and select Linked Offset. And Linked Offset is going to allow us to create a border. Just drag up that node like you saw me do, and you can create your border. Now you can create your border as thick as you want, or as thin as you want. Keeping in mind this is going to be a printed image. My black silhouette's really going to be my colored printed image. So my red lining is really going to be my cut path around my picture. So do you really want a wide border of nothing, or do you want it as close as you can get it? So I'm going to try and get it pretty close just to keep the integrity of the image and just give me some cut paths. Once you have your border how you want it, while still selected on your one node, so it's on my offset, you're going to go up to Path and select Union. So now it gives my shadowing portion also a border or a cut path. Then we're going to save it, and then we'll go into Cricut and we will upload that image. So I have somewhere around here, we just named it Flash Drawing. So there we go. I got my shadow, I got my image, I got my shadow. And now we're going to go ahead and insert that in. So I no longer need this one, really. This is my original. I'm going to get rid of that one. We'll go ahead and stick with these two. And now what we have to do is actually print our image. Before we start messing with the size here, we're going to print our image. So, like I said, we're not going to print our image as a regular standard print and cut because it's only going to allow us to print so big. I want to utilize my entire sheet. So I am going to print right from my computer. So I'm going to go to my image and I'm going to right click and select prints. And it's going to open my print pictures options. Here you can do any size, 4x6, 5x7, 8x10, full sheet, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do full sheet. Fit to frame, it looks like it doesn't cut anything off, so I'm going to leave it on. It does make it slightly bigger. So once we go here, and I'm going to print. Once this prints, I'm going to measure it. And I'm going to see exactly how big it is so that way I can size on my mat accordingly. So give me a moment. Let's get this printed and we'll be right back. Alright, so here's our image. It is full picture. So I'm going to grab my ruler and we're going to measure this baby. And we want to measure it from the highest point that it's at to its lowest point. So its lowest point looks like it's some little prints here. So if I measure this up, we're at about just almost to 9.5, almost a little more than 9.5. Where we're at there, almost 9.75. So I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to come here, we're going to take this, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say, okay, my image is about 9.75. We're going to also get this one. Now this one I'm going to bring it to like 9.85-ish because I do have that border. And let's ungroup here so I can focus just on the black. I want to make sure that my black portion is at my 9.75. And that seems about right. I'll go with that. I have... Actually, this is more 9.5-ish. So let's bring it down. Let's bring this to 9.5. Well, where are we going? Let's say 9.6. So now my black image is at 9.49. That's about right. So if I take this over, I can see, okay, it pretty much covers my image. I'm good. And then my draw image should sit right kind of centered in on that red line. So that red border is where our cut's going to now be. So I'm going to hide this. I no longer need this. I'm not going to cut off of the black. I'm going to actually give it that kind of borderish. So before we cut on our print image, I'm going to cut a tester page. So I'm going to just use a orange piece of paper and I'm going to place it on my mat and we're going to cut this first. So let's go ahead and send this to the mat. And continue. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to try and not get too dizzy as I undock my phone. Oh, and that's not going to work because is my paper moved. Alright, so here we go. So it's going to cut the outline, and then we're going to replace where the orange paper sits, and we're going to replace it with our printed image. I chose not to replace my paper after I jacked it up. So it does have some extra nodes in there that it's cutting. I don't care about them. I really just want my outline. So before I remove my paper, I'm going to take out my cut image. So I took out my cut image and I'm going to line it up to my picture. So here's my character on my printout. I'm going to line them up and see where I'm going to fit here. And I can see that it doesn't quite line up. I'm too short. So I'm going to have to go back and resize it so that it can be bigger. Okay, so I went back and I resized it back to our original 9.75, and that seems to be the right size. So here we can see the image and our template, and it lines up pretty good. Sorry about my lighting. My lights in my house completely suck. So I think that's pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our picture and we're going to line it up to this image without moving this. So I'm going to remove my mat. I'm going to just lift part of it up, place my image under there, and then send it to cut again. Okay, so I've laid my image in here as centered as I can possibly get it. And this is why I do the border, because it's not going to really match up, especially if we're doing a linked offset. It's not a true outline to your original image to begin with. So this is pretty much as close as I can get it. And I'm hoping that while I tried placing it, I didn't move my original green placement, and when I suck in my mat, that it'll kind of go back to where we were at originally. So here we go. Alright, so we're going to remove our paper and cut the next one. And crossing our fingers, and hopefully it lines up pretty well. It does have some extra like nodes in there of some crap that it's trying to cut out afterwards, so I am going to pause and stop it once it just gets through my outline. See how close I got. Alright, there we go, my outline's done. Let's see what we got. So, there's my image, it's printed. You can see my border. Up here, it's a lot closer. The image is clean enough where I can easily go in with the scissors and not go through this trouble, but some of the images can get pretty detailed, so it might work. Again, it's an option. You can choose not to create the linked offset and make the border and just use your original image size. The only problem is trying to get that exact sizing because you're not using design space. You're just printing it from your regular printer. So, but at all cases, it does work if you work it.